Hello everyone, my name is Aarti and you're watching HW News. The island nation of Sri Lanka has been hit with violent protest once again after months. After months of heavy protest, after months of massive protest against the president and the prime minister of the country, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa was reportedly going to step down today itself, but before he could step down, he has fled the country and he has reached Maldives, from where he is supposed to go to another Asian country according to sources. Now, he has fled along with his wife and two other bodyguards who were on the military plane through which they fled. And this military plane was cleared. This air visit to Malay was cleared for him because at that point of time he was still the president of the country. That means he was still the commander of three armed forces of the country. So that is why immigration officials cleared his air travel to Malé, which is the capital of the Maldives, and from there he is reportedly going to go to another Asian country. At this point, he still remains the president of the country. He was supposed to step down today and make a way for the all-party government to be established in the country. And on July 20th, the all parties were supposed to elect a new government in the country. But before that, he has fled the country and he has gone to Maldives. This is what the latest report is. Now, Rajapaksa, as I said, was due to step down as president on Wednesday to make way for a unity government in the country. And thousands of protesters have already stormed the presidential palace. They have also set on fire the prime minister's residence. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, who was recently sworn in as the prime minister after Gotabaya Rajapaksa's brother Mahinda Rajapaksa stepped down as the prime minister in the month of May. Ranil Wickremesinghe became the prime minister of the country. He also declared that Sri Lanka was officially bankrupt. Sri Lanka has been facing a massive economic crisis for quite some time, especially after COVID-19 lockdown. The nation, which heavily depends on tourism, all the sources of money were dried up and there was no foreign remittance in the country. Adding to that were some decisions taken by the Mahinda Rajapaksa and Gotabaya Rajapaksa government that added fuel to the already growing economic crisis in the country. And after that, Sri Lanka was on the brinks of economic crisis. Sri Lanka was already facing an economic crisis. Now it was on the brink of bankruptcy. Amid that, heavy protests started in the country. Rations were running out. Petrol was running out. Petrol was being rationed in the country. There were huge and long queues for petrol, for diesel, for all the kinds of fuel. There were long queues for getting daily essentials as well. Schools were stopping their lectures, schools were not using paper for the exams. So that was the situation in Sri Lanka, and still the country faces this situation. And amid this economic crisis, president of the country, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, who was supposed to step down, he was supposed to resign from his position, has fled the country. Now, meanwhile, as I said, Basil Rajapaksa, another of President's brother, tried to flee the country yesterday, but there was massive protest. The immigration officials at the airport refused to cooperate with him, and he had to return. He had a US residency with him. It was not clear where he was trying to go, which country he was trying to go, but reportedly the immigration officials did not cooperate with him, and that is why he had to return back home. So he could not go out of the country, but it is being reportedly said that Gotabaya Rajapaksa has fled the country and he has gone to Maldives, from where he is going to go to another Asian country. Meanwhile, back in Sri Lanka, angry protesters have stormed the streets, they have stormed the presidential palace. We have seen the visuals of how protesters have stormed the presidential palace. Some of them were jumping in the swimming pool. In lakhs and crores, people are thronging the presidential palace. It has sort of become a picnic spot for the protesters. They are jumping in the swimming pool. Some are bathing in the bathroom in the presidential palace. Some are trying to do exercise in the gyms. Some are thronging the kitchen. Some are dancing on the bed. Some are playing piano. There are wedding shootings happening at that particular spot. So it has become like a tourist spot. And yesterday there were also reports that some cash was also found in the bunker in the presidential palace. On the other hand, the prime minister's private residence was also set on fire by some of the angry protesters a few days back. So this was the situation of the protest in Sri Lanka today. Also, once again, after the news spread that Gotabaya Rajapaksa has fled the country, the protesters took to streets, and police this time around was deployed in heavy numbers. They shelled tear gas on the protesters, as well as they used water cannons to disperse the crowd. But the crowd is continuously swelling. Protesters in large number are taking to streets. This is what the update is as of now. Yesterday, Indian High Commission in Sri Lanka had denied the media reports that Indian government cleared the route for Gotabaya Rajapaksa to fly to Maldives. They called it baseless, and they also said that these reports are speculative. What exactly was Indian High Commission's response? Let me read out to you. They said that the High Commission categorically denies baseless and speculative media reports that India facilitated the recent reported travel of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa out of Sri Lanka. It further tweeted that it is reiterated that India will continue to support the people of Sri Lanka as they seek to realize their aspirations for prosperity and progress through democratic means and values, established democratic institutions, and constitutional framework. Meanwhile, India has also approached the wait and watch stance on the entire Sri Lankan crisis. It is also observing what is happening in Sri Lanka. What next will happen in Sri Lanka, that we have to see. Do let us know what do you think about this in the comment box below. For more news and updates, you can log on to www.hwnews.com.